It's time to take a look at the next command battlecruiser. This is the Myrmidon 2 command. I've heard a lot of very good things about this ship, so I have decided to actually check it out myself. Now, the Myrmidon is basically a smaller version of the Hyperion. This ship should have some pretty good armor repair capabilities. And overall, I plan to fly one of the command battlecruisers into PvP, and I'm trying to find out which one will work the best for me. So, roll bonus will give the ship plus 25% drone command range, and it can fit command burst modules, okay. Advanced armored command bonus will give you plus 4% armored command burst strength, plus 6% skirmish command burst strength, plus 10% command burst effective range. Overall, a pretty solid first bonus. Advanced battlecruiser command will give you plus 9.5% armor repair, plus 50% drone damage, and plus 5% drone EHP. So far on paper this looks pretty nice, a little bit different from the prophecy command, or Apocalypse 2 command as I called that ship last time. The Myrmidon has 4 drones, 3 high slots, 4 medium slots, 5 low slots, 3 combat and 3 engineering rigs. Pretty good defense at 35,000. The Myrmidon is primarily a armor tank. Don't shield tank a Myrmidon, that's very cursed. Pretty decent capacitor, overall decent recharge rate, 13.4 gigajoule per second is the recharge rate, it can lock 7 targets. 221.1 meters is the signature radius, 227 is the scan resolution, 21.1 is the sender strength. Flight velocity 248 meters per second, warp speed 3.7 astronomical units per second, and overall the Myrmidon is not the fastest but definitely not the slowest command battlecruiser. Now let's take a look at the fit. I have currently 768.98 DPS, which is pretty solid for the current build. I use C-type medium missile launchers in the high slots. You can use torpedoes or you can use the normal medium missiles. Both, all 3 weapon systems actually work really well. I have one armored command burst module that should improve the armor and the armor resistance. It also works excellent in a fleet but works pretty good if you are solo as well. I'm mostly looking for the armor resistance bonus and extra armor. I have one scrambler and dual webs. With the skirmish command you can get the range of the webs and on the scrambler up to around 16 kilometers. I use the Republic Fleet Warriors, Republic Fleet Valkyries, my apologies. And I think those drones have a pretty good drone control range, they're pretty fast. One medium afterburner, one capacitor battery, a large armor repairer, and dual C-type adaptive armor harness. I repair 4174 armor every 5.94 seconds, which is actually pretty damn good. With the nanocore you can get that to around 3 seconds, maybe 2.8 seconds. I don't have a nanocore currently to check that out. And of course the adaptive armor harness. Now, as for the rigs, so recently we have received tier 4 rigs and we have received new rig integrations, so I have decided to check them out. Now, you don't have to necessarily buy tier 4 rigs and the top tier combat rig integration. The normal tier 2, tier 3 rigs with the cheaper rig integrations work really good as well. Basically there is little to no difference, to be honest. Now I focused this ship on the maximum possible armor repair and maximum possible resistance, and I think I did a pretty good job with this. Currently I have 68,000 cold EHP, 50%, 55, 68 and 65% resistance, which is I think pretty good for this ship, for the cold base resistance value. As for the engineering rigs, I have focused on capacitor and on power grid. Power grid mainly for the large armor repair, and I did try to fit one large capacitor battery. Did not work, but I did manage to fit a medium capacitor battery, and this is practically the result that I came up with this ship. Now you can use a dual armor repair build with a Nosferatu. The medium armor repairers repair armor every 3.56 seconds. 1669 is actually not that bad. Depends what type of build you prefer. Sometimes I like dual armor repair, sometimes I like the one single large armor repair. Both have their advantage and disadvantage. For PvP I would definitely use dual medium armor repairs because they are a little bit more efficient. I did actually try the large armor repair out on the Stratius, which works in a very similar way. Now this is the power grid, almost filled up to the top if I use the A-type large armor repair, and I think that's the build that I would most likely use on this ship, because the one large armor repair can actually repair a lot, and you have the capacitor battery that can help with the capacitor. 115,000 hit points. It's actually really solid. 78, 80%, 86% and 84% are the resistances, which is pretty tanky for this ship. Combining that with the pretty good armor repairs, this is a pretty tanky ship. 1024.54 meter per second is the maximum afterburner velocity. I would not use a micro drive on this ship. The afterburner is fast enough and it gets the job done. Now with the command burst modules, you have to remember that you will have weapon timers, so you will not be able to dock immediately after you use them, or you will not be able to jump through the gate if you end up using them. Now for high sec missions you can easily use drone damage amplifiers instead of the adaptive armor harness, because the high sec missions are not that dangerous and the current build should last pretty good against any incoming damage in the mission. Now this is some pretty good cold DPS, 969 DPS with the current build, and now let's take a look at the active stats. 57, 61, 73 and 68% resistance, 77,000 overall armor hit points. Definitely the command burst helps a lot to raise that EHP bar on this ship. 1136 with one drone damage amplifier, and with the second one 1,300 DPS, which is actually pretty good for a full tank ship. So I also have the drone implant ready, and unfortunately you still can't see the 350% damage bonus that drones get from the drone bombs. So the best way to demonstrate how the drone bombs work is in actual combat, and I will do that throughout this video. Overall, I would say that the drone bombs are really fun. They are really good for defense, for mission runners. If you like to run missions in low sec, then the drone bombs will be very important to deal with Stratios tackle ships, and they have been buffed recently. They have received one extra charge. Now, speaking of implants, let me show you the drone implant. Let me quickly find it. Bombard Tactics, it's this one. Okay, now before the patch, before the balance patch, if we can call it a balance patch, it was 4 charges. Now it's 5, so it was buffed a little bit. The bomb damage is 300%, and each drone will have that bonus. Each drone will have 5 charges, which is honestly really deadly if you think about it. Really good at PvP, and again, very good at defense. So I did show you the general units. I basically focused them on maximum possible DPS. So I haven't really changed them much. I can upgrade them to the level 10 general units, but I think level 8s should be enough for a very long time. I also focused on armor repair, extra armor repair, and of course I focused on the drone velocity. The secondary skills are also focused on DPS, so I have 450% bomb damage. Okay, that's evil. That's very evil if you think about it. That's a lot of DPS in a short amount of time. And of course, someone asked me if you can actually duplicate the general units. You can't. You actually have to fit different ones. And I think that's a good thing, because we would have really ridiculous DPS. I mean, we already have that with the Barrage Macarial, but yeah, you will see what I mean very soon. Now, the skill that I would use in PvP is the automatic defense. Now, this skill is basically allowing you to use your drones as jammers. It also allows you to use your drones as ships with extra points. So overall, it's really good for PvP, really good for a Stratius. Really good for a Stratius because drones can be used to point the target and to add 4 extra points, which can replace 1 extra scrambler. The general units are focused on drone DPS, drone speed, and armor repair. Basically, this is the optimal combination that I'm trying to use, and this is basically the same combination that I would use on the live server in PvP with the Stratius. And perhaps if I do choose this ship, then I will probably use this implant. So, it would be interesting to see how this ship will work. Now, I did fly the Prophecy to command. I still can't believe that I called the Prophecy Apocalypse. If you go back to the Prophecy to command video, I started by calling it Apocalypse to command. Yeah, that was hilarious. I have no idea how I did that, but I did. It was probably like 3 AM when I recorded, so I was probably very tired. Who knows? It happens. Now, the drone bombs have to be recharged when your drones are inside of the drone bay, or else you will practically waste the implant. Now, the evasive maneuver implant is pretty good. It's very useful when you have to chase interceptors around. Now, I just realized something. I did forget to use the skirmish command. The skirmish command will make the ship a little bit faster. It will make the web and scrambler range a little bit longer, which is very useful for PvP. But I guess you can use the ship in this way with dual webs. For PvP, I would probably use dual scramblers or perhaps triple scramblers, depends on what I am doing with the ship, but the Myrmidon 2 command is overall pretty tanky, and this ship should be very scary for PvP. I've heard a lot of good things about this ship, from being very tanky to having some pretty good DPS. Now for PvP, I usually like to fly tanky ships. Some ships like the Macarial Cineval can work really well with DPS only, because they are basically made for hit and run operations, while the Myrmidon is made for tanking, based on the ship bonuses, and I did take advantage of that. So, the drone implants, the drone bomb implants, I like to call them the drone bomb implants because that's basically what they are. They give drones bombs and it decreases the DPS a lot. And so far, I am easily going through this mission with the current build. Now, someone told me that the drone bombs are not really suitable for missions. And I can definitely see why, because you have to pull back the drones and then you have to actually recharge the implant. Definitely one of the things that might be a little bit annoying with this implant, but overall I wouldn't be actively using it for missions. I would mostly be actively using it for Stratius cruisers that try to tackle me. The drone bombs are easily capable at eliminating a tanky tackle Stratius in seconds. That's why I would use them. So yeah, each time I tackle a Battlecruiser with drones, a prophecy command, a Myrmidon ship like that, I always prepare myself to be aligned in case they have drone bombs. Now I did fight one, I think it was a rattlesnake, and I think the rattlesnake did have the drone bombs, but a lot of drones have for tracking, so I wasn't taking full damage, but I can definitely tell you that the ship did take some serious damage. Even though it wasn't hitting me properly, I still took some serious damage and I had to warp out. You will see what I mean very soon. It was a very good fight with the rattlesnake. Eventually we have destroyed the rattlesnake, but it was a very tricky fight. So that's one of the uses for the drone bombs. If you like drone bombs, if you like ships with drones, then the drone bombs are excellent defense weapon or defense implant against other pirates that find interest in shooting down your ship. And of course that's based on my personal experience with the implant. After using it, after experiencing it on my own ship, yeah, they're actually pretty good. Although for missions I see why people don't like them. It's mostly because you have to reload them and you have to pull back the drones, which can affect the mission clear time and things like that. The drone might get stuck because sometimes the drones don't return to the drone base, so yeah, I can definitely see what could be the downsides of the implant, but overall they're actually very nice. Now here, taking armor damage, I want to show you how quickly the large armor repair recovers the armor. Now this is definitely not the, I would say not the best armor repair speed that's possible on this ship. We have some of the new nanocores that improve armor repair on the battlecruisers. So that nanocore can technically improve the armor repair by around 50%, maybe a little bit more than 50%. So you could technically recover around 7,000 armor every, I would say, 3 seconds, maybe 2.8 seconds. And that is, I would say, really good. It is comparable to the armor repair that I have on the Hyperion, although the Hyperion, well, it's a little bit, it's a different ship, definitely. If I build the Hyperion with the same rigs that I built this Myrmidon, then the Hyperion should repair around, I would say, 10,000 armor every 3 seconds or something like that. It can fit 4 armor repairs, so you can practically recover whole armor every cycle, which is ridiculously busted if you ask me. But yeah, that's what the implants did. Of course, I expect the implants to be changed. I mean, it's obvious that they're doing some small changes first, but as time goes on, I would say that they will be drastically changed. Especially the infamous barrage implant. Oh man, I'll have a field day with that one very soon. I have something ridiculous in mind, and I think I will break my own record with the most ridiculous ship that I've ever built. I mean, this Myrmidon is already pretty ridiculous with the rigs and modules, but I have something even more insane in mind. You will see in a couple days what I'm talking about. With the battleships, of course, and the barrage implant, I want to build a ship with the maximum possible DPS, just to show how broken the implants are. Or in this case, how broken the barrage implant is. The drone implants, yeah, they're pretty strong, but if we compare them to the barrage implant, they're not that busted, although they're still pretty busted if you ask me. Mostly because you can eliminate a tanky faction cruiser in seconds with the drone bombs. So The Myrmidon 2 command as well as the Prophecy 2 command are both built for tank, and both of these ships have some pretty good DPS with the tank, which makes these ships very interesting. I'm waiting for someone to try something like this out in the 1v1 arena. The Prophecy that I built with 3 of the drone damage amplifiers, full tank Prophecy by the way, should be pretty terrifying in the 1v1 arena. If we add tier 4 rigs to the Prophecy, that ship will be overpowered. So it will be very interesting to see how something like that will work in the 1v1 scenario. With the implant, I can almost guarantee you that Prophecy will eat everything that's thrown at it in the 1v1 arena. Unless they prevent rigs from actually being used in the arena, which I think would be a very smart decision. Not really sure what's been changed to the arena. I know that in the latest patch they changed something, not really sure what, because I'm not really playing the 1v1 arena, mostly playing the classic Eve in the open world setting. Now I have to admit, the large armor repair is pretty good. One reason why I actually prefer to use the large armor repair is because of the capacitor battery. I couldn't fit a large Nosferatu on this ship, but if I fit a medium one, I have a lot of power grid left, so I wanted to take advantage of the power grid. Basically, I want to use as much of the power grid as possible, so that's why I left the large armor repair. I had just enough power grid left to use a medium capacitor battery, and that combination so far works really well. Now, since you are very tanky with this ship, you will not be using the armor repair all the time. Basically, you can use it when needed, so one capacitor battery should be more than enough to sustain the large armor repair. If I were to go with a full tier 4 rig setup with the tier 4 power grid rigs, then I could technically maybe slap a medium Nosferatu, but I personally didn't feel like I need one at the moment. This so far works really well. The speed tank also works really nicely on this ship, which is surprising. I've also heard some really nice things about the Cyclone 2 command. I can't wait to try that ship out. I think I will like it a lot. Now, as for the Myrmidon, I honestly do like this ship. It runs really smooth. The DPS is pretty good, I would say. Definitely did surpass my expectations. The tank, well, obviously it's pretty good. I have no issues with the tank on this ship. For PvP, I will definitely use the adaptives. Wouldn't be using the drone damage amplifiers, mostly because of the extra tank that you can push out of this ship. Basically, you should outlast most of your targets, and for PvP I would most likely use torpedo missile launchers for the extra DPS. Now here is the example of the drone not returning. I have to basically approach the drone and then activate the drone bombs. As you could see, the drone DPS, the drone bomb DPS is pretty good. The alpha damage is ridiculous. You can deliver around 25,000 damage in less than 5 seconds to faction cruisers. So yeah, I would say that's ridiculous, and that's 25,000 damage on a tanky cruiser, by the way. So that was pretty smooth. Now you might be wondering, how much does this ship cost? Usually I joke around saying that my ships cost a kidney or two, and yeah, that's I think accurate for this game. Now ignore my wrecks over there. I was, you know, testing something out. You'll see in a couple days. So, how much does this Myrmidon cost? Well, let's find that out. Now, this is basically the ship that I did fly so far throughout this video. Haven't changed much. Only changed the drone damage amplifiers into resistance rigs, into resistance modules, and the rest of the build is practically the same. So let's lock on the sentry gun and let's see how much this ship costs. I'm actually very curious because I haven't really checked this with any of the ships that I've tested around, so we will see how much this costs. How many kidneys is this Myrmidon worth? Well, let's find out. Okay, I got yeeted as expected. Let's take a look at the kill. 28 billion. Well, that's not as much as I expected. Not bad. It's definitely not a bad value there. Definitely a very good drop. I wish that I find a wreck like this. I would definitely be happy. Okay, so that's how much this ship costs, and overall, that will be it for the Myrmidon 2 command. Definitely impressed by how this ship runs, and a high probability that I will actually use this ship for PvP. Now I still have to test out the other 2 command battlecruisers, the Ferox and Cyclone. There's a high chance that the Cyclone will be my favorite, because I've heard that it's ridiculously fast, and I've heard that it has some pretty busted DPS, but we will see when I actually start flying that ship. So, with that being said, hope that you enjoyed this little ride with the Myrmidon 2 command. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll make sure to give my best answer, and with that being said, stay safe, fly safe, and I'll see you next time.